All right, all right. Welcome, good people. My name is Larry James. I'm coming to Speak with Larry. And this week I'm going to be talking about some things that are in line with some things that I'm adding to my system to kind of expedite the process. I won't go into too much detail about that, but I wanted you to know that if you're interested in starting an online business or an online presence, uh, I'm the person you should be contacting. My company teaches people how to set up the foundation of an online business while assisting them with becoming more comfortable speaking about it. And we're kind of in that era right now because when you think about what's going on in the world today with the pandemic and the uprising of the killing of Floyd, then you have to realize, and also I think it's right now we got about 40 million people unemployed. So the way back is going to be a little different than it has been. So having your own little system is going to be very important to consider. Think about it, because not just today, but down the road things are going to be very, very different. So the quicker you can get in the game and kind of get a handle on what's going on, the better off you'll be. But I'm titling this video, "Which Generation is the Smartest?" Because I'm doing some research with a research tool I just added to my system that allows me to insert a phrase or a word or two called keywords, long tail or short tail keywords. And it will allow me to get different titles that Google is ranking for already. For instance, when I typed in which generation is the smartest, it gave me a list of titles that I should use to talk about for my next videos, right? Because I create videos. But it's also a system that helps you write blog posts or create podcast episodes, because those are all the three arms that you want to be part of with your online business. But you're only going to want to start with one so that you can kind of get good and familiar with that process. But I'm going to read you a few things about the generations that I didn't even know, although there's a lot I don't know. But like there are actually generations X, Y, and Z. I didn't know that. I knew that there was a generation X and a generation Y, but I didn't know that there was a Z. So I'm going to share a little bit about that with you, and then I'm going to tell you which generation actually the Google says is the smartest. You may or may not agree, but that's okay. Okay, it says people have different generations. No, people from different generations work differently. It makes sense. They were raised in different eras with different technologies and experiences. So a baby boomer thinks and works differently than someone from generation X, Y, and Z. Baby boomers are extremely hardworking and motivated by position, perks, and prestige. Would you agree or disagree? I'd have to agree with that. Okay, Generation X, those are people born between 1960 and 1980. You kind of have mixed feelings when speaking about those people, because many Generation X people job hop frequently. The most common reason is they're chasing money. And individuals from this group are independent, tech savvy, pragmatic, and competent. And they tend to change jobs frequently. That's Generation X. Now, Generation Y, also known as the Millennials, those born from the 1980s to 1990s, they don't have as much experience or as many life skills as the baby boomers or Generation X. They are most likely to adapt quickly to change and are able to learn a lot quicker than any other generation. They're frequently high maintenance, but most experts agree they have more potential than previous generations. Millennials are adaptable and flexible, able to deal with an ever-increasing rate of change. And Generation Y is the first generation who actually can multitask effectively, as shown in recent studies. And I thought that was interesting. I thought that was very, very interesting, that section right there. But another thing about Generation Y is they are beyond technology savvy. They are technology sophisticated. Think about that now. That's the era that we're in, and it's becoming more and more prevalent that you acclimate to some type of internet, some type of connection, doing something online so that you can get familiar with different things. Because if you don't, there's going to come a time where if you don't know it, you're going to be out of the loop for real. You know, you got to really think about that. Now, the final generation was Generation Z, identified also as centennials, and these were people born from the mid-1990s to the mid-2010s. The generation of technology, they were born into it. Written communication is often not grammatically correct and sometimes may not be entirely appropriate for business. They may need additional training and coaching in business communications and grammar. And they've grown up in a time when there's been more economic instability, so they crave more workplace security. That's Generation Z. Now, of all those generations that I just named, which one would you think is the smartest, or would Google consider the smartest? If you said the millennial generation, the lazy generation, you would be right. And it says that they are more likely to be wealthy, more likely to live longer, and more likely to have less stress. Go figure, right? I'm in the baby boomer generation. I'm in that era, and proud of it. So I think it's the goal is to get old, but you know, I'm going to be creating videos starting today is June the 2nd. I'm going to be creating videos for probably another pretty strong 2 months. I like to do 2 or 3 per week to increase my numbers. I've already got over 900 videos on YouTube. Check me out at Speak with Larry. Go to YouTube, subscribe to my channel, and click the notification bell. And when I create videos, you'll be able to access them. Boom, you'll know before anybody else. And I also have a podcast I do every Monday called Speak with Larry's Podcast. The reason I'm sharing this information with you is that once you decide to acclimate yourself to an online business, these are things you'll be saying to your audience, because you'll want your audience to have a way to reach out and touch you, get back with you, right? Especially if you're interested in what the host is sharing with you, right? And you want to be interested because you're going to be gaining knowledge in a certain area, right? You want to be with someone who's kind of walked that walk, and it'll make your journey a lot quicker. That's the objective, right? That's the goal of setting out on that journey of an entrepreneur, because most people are not really familiar or comfortable being an entrepreneur. And you know, if you're the type of person who thinks like everybody's not meant to be a entrepreneur, then that's probably not for you, you know? So if you feel that way, then just continue doing what you're doing. But don't discourage people who might want to say, well, you know, I think I'm going to give this a shot. It's not a lot of money involved, you know, it's nothing but my time, and it's really just guided learning. Right, I call it just edifying your skill level, growing who you are, which in other words for me is recreating who you are, because who you are today will change in 30, 60, or 90 days. Now my system, I only keep a client 30, 60, or 90 days, unless they want to go for the year after that. But with a 30, 60, or 90-day process, you'll know where you are at the end of 90 days. You'll know where you are at the end of 30 days, whether or not this is something for you or maybe not. And if it's not, no problem. But 30 days out of your life is not a lot of time, right? You know, depending on how you look at life, right? So we all need to be adding to our skill levels, increasing our value in the marketplace. And you have that opportunity right now. It's available to you. And I welcome the opportunity to share some information and kind of get you prepared for the next wave, because the next wave, Generation Z or Generation Y, they come fully equipped with technology. That's their world. So, you know, you want to be able to hang on to that as long as you can. And finally, I do Zoom interviews also on Tuesdays and Thursdays of every week. I, you know, have a system set up to do Zoom interviews. Sometimes the way I'm accessing the clientele, sometimes there's gaps, right? Which I'm really cool with, because you know, my objective is only to do 50, but I'm at like 20 already. So and I do a lot of other things. So that little gap is a good thing for me. I get to create these videos and position my system in another direction that I want to go. So if you'd like to do an interview with my company, and then I would upload that video to my YouTube channel and then send it out to the different places that I post. Just reach out to me at Speakwithlarry That's one word, speakwithlarryj@gmail.com. And in the subject box, type in interview. And then I'll get back with you normally within 24 hours. And then we'll go from there, right? That's how business is done. That's DBA in the 2020s, right? You do business online in the 2020s. And if you're not doing that, you're not doing that. Because you have to grow this process, right? You can't want it. You have to put work into it. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So with that being said, I'm not going to stay long today, because I want to position myself to be able to do about a 10, 15-minute video every time I do them. And I can do that fairly easy, but I want to be more structured in what I'm doing so that I'm able to reach a certain audience that I want to reach, right? All right. Okay, with that being said, my name is Larry James. Again, my company is Speak with Larry, no spaces. Check it out, and I'll check you out on the next video.